Hi, darling. I'm Miss Darling, and I also go by Juicy Dream. I'll be the host. Today's podcast is going to be about Frolicon, and my podcast also is called
Her raw release.
It's a podcast where mental health meets all things that encompass sexuality. Today's podcast is going to be about Frolicon, a convention that emerges once a year, and it's a thrilling blend of where nerdy meets naughty. I have DNA and Princess Panic joining me today. DNA is a switch who is mainly submissive, and she's been in the kink community for about 3 years. I have Princess Panic, and who's been in the kink community for about 9 to 10 years. What is something that you have learned at Frolicon this year? And then also, how many years have you been going to Frolicon?
I have gone to 2 Frolicons so far. I'm definitely going back for a third and a fourth and a fifth and so on because it is an incredible experience to learn about yourself and meet some really cool people along the way. Um, as far as what I learned at Frolicon, this year was incredibly impactful for me. To sum it up, I would say I learned that it's okay. It's okay to be me. It's okay to like the things I like. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just me. So that was what I took away from it the most.
I love that. And Princess Penny.
It's actually my first year at Frolicon. I really can't remember how I heard of it. It must have been sometime in a dungeon, and feel like you have to like everything and you have to get the same amount out of everything, which is never going to happen. Yeah. So it was the first year at Frolicon, and it was sort of both my partner and I's intention to get us back into the more community aspect of the scene. Went to a dungeon my first time, I think really close to my 21st birthday, just as a submissive on my own. Was pretty lucky to mostly have positive experiences. Nothing worse than disrespect in the kink community on my end, which is truly a privilege. Yeah. But mostly what I started taking away from it, I feel like such a nerd in comparison to you, because I'm like, well, I took away some specific strategies and sort of both as like a dominant submissive couple and as individuals, we both sort of refocused on different kink goals and directions we think we want to go into. Whereas beforehand, I think sometimes it can be really easy to call yourself kinky and then just be spoiled for choice, and feel like you have to like everything and you have to get the same amount out of everything, which is never going to
I
happen.
would say I definitely learned that I don't know as much as I thought I did. Say like in your personal sex life, basically you use toys, right? Or you use things that would be considered kinky, or you do things that would be considered kinky, like role play and things of that nature. But when you actually go to a professional convention based on sexuality, you learn terminology, or even terminology that you didn't even know existed, or even like we had talked about at the con, that maybe we were spanking wrong or doing something that we've been doing and didn't even think there was a right way or a wrong way, or safe way and an unsafe way of doing something. So yeah, that for me was very mind blowing. And also, you don't, if you're a very kinky person or sexually liberated, sometimes you don't want to acknowledge that you don't know that much, or that you maybe still are a newbie.
It can put you at risk as well, too.
Exactly.
Not to go immediately on the dark side, but we all have experience on the submissive end of it.
Mhm.
And sometimes going, I don't know anything, can bring in the exact wrong kind of dominant.
That's true
Yeah.
too.
So like
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Oh man, I was a personal hang up for me for a long time is I would pretend to be an expert because it made me feel a lot safer with some dominance.
Actually, that might also be it. Yes. Because yeah, so like I got into kink through people who weren't professional at all, and I learned a lot of toxicity. I actually started kink with CNC. So long story short, yeah, I like was the hard end of just exactly. So that is also a safety reason too, because you don't want these people certain people to believe you don't know what you're doing because they guide you in the wrong way. And I definitely learned that I would love to help other submissives know that they need to educate themselves, because there are going to be far more doms who say people who say that they are doms or that they are tops who will never take the courses and will never really put that energy into learning the safe ways to handle you, because they just want to be in control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on another flip side is sometimes this actually kind of was something I had to be aware of because I had a lot more kink experience with my spouse now
Mhm.
when we first got together. I had to make sure that I wasn't pressuring them into things that I was comfortable with that they weren't.
Ooh.
Like I like power exchange. I
Mhm.
like some intense like verbal degradation, humiliation scenes. We did not do those for 2 or 3, 4 years. And it wasn't the and it was never a pressuring thing. It was just like we always would sit together and talk about our kinks, and I would always say like, hey, these are things I'm interested in. Here's why, and I'd talk about them, and I talk about them at length so they could see how I reacted to it. And I would also go into the mental parts of it. And really, based on a lot of people's metrics, I bet you we'd still be on the soft end of that stuff because
Mhm.
it would be incredibly irresponsible to push my dominant that far when they don't have experience with it. And I don't have experience as a dom, so I don't know what it's like. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know what it's like to top in that sort of emotionally intense scene. So it has to be at their pace. So yeah, protect yourself, protect your dom.
To piggyback off that, you can only go as fast as the slowest wheel in the situation. Um, as far as when people dom me, I am not very trusting in the beginning. I take it extremely slow because I need to be confident first and foremost that they know what the fuck they're doing because that's my safety on the line. Yeah, it's my wishes, it's what I ask for, but I also, it goes without saying, it needs to be as safe as possible. So, people, I mean, you have to understand even the basic human physiology um, of what you're doing. You have to understand how the muscles work if you're getting an impact, things like that. Like, where to hit, where not to hit. If someone is like me, very bony ass right here. I mean, it's nothing but pelvis and bones here. I got nothing. Pancakes all day. Anywho, um, yeah, just the personal safety of it. I want someone, and I'm not saying I would never play with someone who is inexperienced, but I do, but I have them take it very slow because I got to know their rhythm. I got to know their speed. I got to know what they're getting at, what they ultimately are going to, I just have to ultimately protect my personal safety above all others.
That's a really good point. Last year when I was at South, I was in the Kinky Olympics, and one of the games was like an endurance bottom competition, and I was there for about it was over 2 hours getting spanked by multiple people. And one thing that they really made sure to do is to not hit me in the same area consistently. And that's not even something that I had even thought of, right? So, because like what you mentioned, how much fat you have on your does also matter. I would say a toxic thing, a toxic belief would be that if you're plus size or if you just enjoy pain, that they should be able to just hit you as hard as they want consistently. But even if you enjoy pain, right? It doesn't mean that you want bruises or to bleed also. And those are very important things to consider. And then again, with how much fat is on your even if you do have a lot of fat, it's still you can't hit the same spot without, you know what I mean? Like that pain is going to intensify, and that matters too in the type of pain. One thing I was really surprised about was I went to the subby school class. I think it was submissive like 102 or something like that. I'm not sure, but they asked a question that I had never thought of, and they asked, "How do you interpret pain?"
Mm.
And as someone who can very much so, as I said, be in some type of hard rough impact for a long time. I've never even thought about that. And people were, saying how, one person said pain in their mind is interpreted like pleasure. Another person was mentioning how they can actually orgasm from it. And from the Kinky Olympics, the first time I ever had like some type of mental orgasm was from endurance.
Mm.
And that was surprising. Like I'm still learning about myself, but these questions, are really important. I would say I am yapping right now, so I did want to ask, what was something that you experienced or saw that was very surprising?
Something that completely took me off guard is as far as the dominance, a dom, what, how they can get this into you. It doesn't even have to be physical. If someone is, for example, afraid of snakes, putting something like this on the table just to warm them up, it's a little snake thing. Just something like that for them to sit there and look at and think about. So this year, I definitely learned a lot about just the mind and how you don't even have to get physical to dom somebody. You can just make them think.
I'd say for me, I guess one of the bigger surprises, I had a really valuable experience in a high protocol 101 class. I feel like high protocol is often misunderstood. It goes with total power exchange, and understandably, a lot of women my age and younger are really uncomfortable with the term submission and dominance, and I understand that, even though I feel like discomfort is valuable. So I kind of I don't know. I feel like there's a reason things make you uncomfortable and you don't have to like something, but I have literally had some kid look me in the eyes and go, I just could never get behind submission because I'm a feminist. And I was like, well, I like to and I'm a feminist, so I'm gonna submit. Thank you.
Yes.
Like Jesus Christ. But I also understand the emotional reaction, and I really enjoyed this high protocol class because I was not in any other space that entire weekend that I felt like valued submissives and protected submissives that ardently. I want to be clear, every subset of kink is going to have bad actors. You are going to find really bad masters. I don't even like that term, but you're going to find really bad doms and total power exchange people in high protocol. And they're going to be a little easier to spot because they're going to have a high protocol about it. That actually makes me feel more safe than being in a place where everyone's acting a little bit edgy. So you have to just trust they're cool, Like in a high protocol space, give me 5 minutes. I can clock a dom that I trust versus one that I can't. But like I went to a fear play class. It was a great class. Everyone was really cool, but they were, they were trying to be kind of scary. And I realized that with that front, I was uncomfortable. I didn't. It was going to take me a lot longer to find dominance that I vibed with. So for me, it was really cool to go to this this high protocol class and to have this totally different experience than I expected, and to feel valued and to watch this honestly a family of kinky people who used their weaknesses to support each other. And this high protocol was all focused on their mental health, all focused on personal growth, community support, and it was really inspiring and very moving. So that was like probably my kind of like biggest surprise of the weekend.
Could you go into what high protocol is also?
Yeah. And okay, I'm going to be clear. I went to a 101 class. This was an inspiring thing for me to learn much more about. But a high protocol relationship is when a dominant and submissive enter into a form of a contract. It can be a 24/7 contract. It can be a when the collar is on kind of contract. It can be based on the contract can be based on the collars. Say that 5 times fast. But you can have a day collar wherein, or a wedding ring wherein it's like we belong to each other. We've made vows. We're married. It's a collar. Or you can have the day collar where it's more like I'm in a kinky space. People are going to know what it means. I'm communicating louder. Or I have a formal collar which has more rules to it. But essentially, a high protocol relationship is where a dominant and submissive work together to form protocols that they both follow with expectations and discipline for if the submissive does not uphold their end of it, and kind of an expectation for the dominant to take control of themselves, their discipline, and the submissive's discipline. So it's a really big exchange of trust, and I think that while yes, the dominant gets a lot of power, oh, they get a lot of responsibility. So it's a difficult relationship. It's a very meaningful relationship, and it's something that I play with a little bit, and I'm really inspired to get a little bit more specific about. I think.
I love what you mentioned also about the dom's responsibility. So there was a like women's only play party, and that's where I met Princess Panic. I had talked to them during it, and I and we both went into it understanding that we were both new to specifically the dynamic that we were going
Yeah,
into.
pickup play has been
Um,
a while for me.
yes, exactly, exactly. And I didn't even think I would find anyone that I would connect to in that way. But it is a lot of responsibility, making sure that they are right mentally, physically, spiritually, and that's something people don't take into account, but I do because, for example, if someone is asking me to do any type of, yeah, like humiliation or degradation or whatever, um, it's really hard for me because of me being a mental health advocate, because I know that there are people who do it as a form of self-harm. I know that there's so many different elements to it, and I have to know that if someone is getting pleasure from it, they also know that they still deserve the praise also. Like I love to be able to mix it in if possible and if they enjoy that. But yeah, being a dom, like even a top, I mean, it was a lot of responsibility, especially the aftercare. Um, Trying to figure out what aftercare they're going to receive, or be receptive to, I mean. Um, yeah. I think, like you said, people hear the word submissive and dominant. Even me, when I hear like master and slave, it's very like
Man, hell no.
I'm not gonna get your young, but I'm not playing in that space.
yeah, yeah. It's like, not for me, but yeah,
Well,
exactly. I'm not gonna get you young.
and
Yeah,
honestly, look at the responsibility of it. Like the responsibility the amount of stuff we would both have to deal with to do any form of race play.
yeah.
I don't even know if I have the knowledge needed.
And it's the mental after,
The mental,
like,
the historical, the cultural, like it's
yeah,
genuinely, and this might sound lazy, I don't want to take on that responsibility. Like
yeah.
it's such a huge thing that I'm like, no,
Hmm. Yeah,
that's not for me.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because when you're out of that scene, it's like a whole different. You can't just walk away
No.
from that. That still stays with you, and yes, it could. Yeah,
Yeah.
so much to unpack there.
Like my experience this time, I had the ultimate endorphin adrenaline rush going for 3 whole days. And then I had the Frolly crash.
Oh my god.
Because we
As
are going to
you
get into that
Oh, we
for
are. All
sure.
right. Yeah, the Frolly crash, it was hard. You definitely got to know what that person wants as far as aftercare. If they want the cuddles, if they want the huggings and the kissings, if they just want a back rub, if they just want you to get them a slice of cake and a Coca-Cola, that's what you do, and you have to be ready. The responsibility of the dom is huge. As the sub, we just tell you, "Oh, I want this." And then you have to make it happen for
As
us.
submissives, do y'all have any sort of aftercare like plans or protocols that you go through?
I'm learning that I need to have it set up,
Yeah.
because again, you can't expect them to read your mind. You can't expect them to know your needs if you don't know your needs.
Mm.
For me, it's mainly mental, I would say, other than the basic, like making sure I have water, something with protein, I would say probably after. But beside that, it's really mental. I want to know that I am valued outside of this experience. I want to know that, um, I'm not just a sex object, because I do love being called just crazy things, specifically, I would say by my person,
Mhm.
because I can trust that outside of this scene, you respect me. Because I came into the kink community forced, I need to know that I am in control even as a submissive. And that's why sometimes it can come off as, um, like me topping from the bottom or whatever. I don't think that's bad. I think whatever you need, and if it's in a healthy way, that's important to you. So yeah, for me, it's just feeling like I matter to them, even if it's pickup play. So just a fun, engaging conversation. You asking about my hobbies. As we got to know each other on a personal level first, and that's what was important to me. And then after checking in emotionally.
There's one little thing I'd like to add. As far as me, yeah, I did have the Frolicon crash. It was hard. I didn't know what I needed after all that simulation. I had no clue. I ended up having to phone a friend. I had to have a friend who wasn't even at Frolicon come over, and I'm like, just hold me. In 2 hours of cuddling, he's like, I have a life. Oh, you okay? No, I wasn't. I needed another friend after that. And it's not to be needy. It's just I thought I was being needy at that moment or wishy-washy or weak, but no, that's not weakness. It's just saying what you need. I didn't have what I needed lined up that day, and it just caused for, all of the dopamine, just got me. So I didn't know what I need. There is one thing I have noticed in the BDSM and kink community as a local health educator, that's all I'm gonna say, is aftercare as far as skin. Your skin is the biggest organ in your body. It's what it holds everything in your side. I mean, all the insides in. There is not enough focus, I feel, on skincare, and I don't mean like, oh, I'm putting on my lotion after I shave my little legs. No, I mean like cleansers, antiseptics. You want to use really quality products, and you want to use them after every scene. You have micro trauma. You have, even if you're not bleeding. Yeah, micro tears. You have things like that happening on your skin, which is your biggest, most important organ in that time and place. You need to have really good medical grade cleansers and lotions. There are a couple that I recommend that are used in the healthcare community for central venous catheters and belly catheters, which is, just an in and out portal to the body. Also, just sanitation beforehand with a really good product like Hibiclens that it costs $20 to get a whole liter of it. And it's what surgeons and healthcare professionals use to wash their hands before they go into surgery. I mean, these things are accessible, and I don't see that used enough. And that kind of irks me because I'm the one who has, the little mini first aid kit in my purse at all times. And take care of your skin, take care of you. Infections are serious. Clean your equipment.
Just panic. Did you have anything that you were wanting to say?
I've experienced a lot of DMs and DOMs that are very focused on like, keep your fluids inside. This is the only place where you can have fluid. This is how you be safe. As soon as you start bleeding, you have to tell me. Like, I've been in situations, most of my group play situations that I've stuck around in, I've been lucky enough to be like, yeah, no, there are DOMs or and DMs around that have been on that. This does kind of go into like the responsibility of a submissive. Like, you've got to be
true.
in control of yourself. Be in control of yourself until you consent to give your control away. And part of that is making sure that you are in medically safe spaces, making sure that you're not getting in the way of someone with a big whip, making sure that you're, because like the thing is that like I do think sometimes the narrative can be switched to like, oh, all the poor submissives and all the big mean doms. Dom space is the same thing as subspace in that it's your responsibility to be aware of what's going on,
Yes.
And so I do think that a lot of times more what I've seen is like I've watched a blood play scene that was entirely safe and I was 20 feet away because I'm a soft blood person. But like I've seen a blood play scene happen where submissive and dominant, totally in sync. You see someone 5 feet away biting their nails, acting like it's the end of the world. There's a DM watching the whole time. Like
That's true.
sometimes people's fear and discomfort, which you should be experiencing in a dungeon. You should. If you're not ready, yeah, if you're not a little scared and a little uncomfortable and you don't want to be those things, there are other ways to engage in kink. Don't go to a dungeon if you don't want to be scared and uncomfortable. But also, if you're not ready to be in control and responsible for yourself when you're scared and uncomfortable, I don't want to sound like I'm victim blaming because especially when you're in like a subspace, it gets harder.
But it's all about not being a victim. Alluring.
Yeah, and
And
it's
you have
so
to remember
hard.
that too.
Yeah,
that's
like
true.
I have a friend of mine who is she wears a collar when she goes to dungeons. She does not have a dominant. I'm her dominant, quote unquote, because I'm the one who holds her rules. She's in Indianapolis. I can't do anything about this, but she puts the collar on to go to dungeons because it makes her feel safe. And I'm like, here are your rules. Here's how you control it. Here's how you vet people first. And like that's, I guess she's my collared submissive. I should talk to her about that.
Collared submissive.
I'm-
Have one.
But I'm also a submissive, so I didn't. Oops. I didn't mean for that to happen, but and it's a way to make sure that she is in control of herself until she's ready to give that up. Because sometimes I mean, I have been lucky to not see a lot of places where I thought it was like medically irresponsible or I thought fluids were being used irresponsibly. I did break out really bad after Frolicon. And I washed my face so hard. So like I have my face in a lot of fridge. But like I broke out hard, and I'm not saying that like as a submissive, it's my responsibility to avoid breaking out. No. But as a submissive, it's my responsibility to know what scenes are going on where and to know what scenes I'm comfortable going near and to, if I'm uncomfortable, look for a DM. And then when I don't see a DM, then I can get nervous and then I'll go grab a DM. But like if I see a DM, I'm in business, you know? Maybe I can be a little bit too freewheeling.
No, I mean,
sometimes.
no, because honestly, that did hit me a lot because I mean, yeah, a lot of even my like nitpicks, it's really also me being someone who I'm now just getting to do in person things. So I'm even more freaked out about fluids or anything like that. But it is also a me thing because I see that, obviously they have all of the stuff there. They have people watching and making sure everything's going safe. It's me who needs to probably get on something to feel more safe because of the 1% risk. And it's a me thing.
I did see people in the whip lanes being way cavalier, walking behind impact scenes in progress. That's the one thing I saw that I was like, good Lord. And it cleared it up. Well, I think the DMs were trying with the whip lane to keep it clear, but I think they were having a hard time keeping it clear because I was watching people walk by. That one scared me. That's the one thing I saw.
And so my next question would be, what would you say could be improved for Frolicon? For me, it was signs. Because even with what you're saying, if there was just a sign that says, because again, yes, they have on the website rules up for the dungeon. They have all of these things written, but
In the moment.
that part exactly, because yes, you can say whatever online, but the moment we're in subspace or downspace or whatever, you're going to forget. So having signs is needed, because yeah, you're like you're overwhelmed, or you're just you're
And
all the
then,
dopamine, because the experience is freaking amazing.
but here's the thing. Where are you going to put the signs where you don't clog up the flow, where people stand right where they shouldn't be standing, reading a sign telling them not to stand there? I've seen that happen. Like
that's true.
Dungeons and crowd control. It's a nightmare.
And then the font on your sign,
and it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, like it's one of those things. Like, is
Yeah.
that I loved when you mentioned pamphlets. I think that's a really good in between of like, here is the written stuff.
Right when you come in, yeah.
Yep, I'm gonna hand it to you.
Yeah.
Then again, paper is not super sanitary. Yeah, no,
I know.
There is
so
no
many.
perfect
And
answer.
I'm sure, you know what I mean? Because again, they did do a really good job. So I'm sure they've already thought of these things. But, as someone who just is attending, you still deserve to be able to say these concerns,
Yeah.
and just talk about it.
I think maybe more intro to dungeon sessions could have been good, like during the day, like one a day sort of. I think it really was only Thursday, Friday. They had a couple intro to DMs, intro to the dungeon. I was like, that should be do that at 7:30, half an hour before the dungeon opens, and like let the newbies come in and like go, oh god. I think that's a good point. Like walking into the dungeon, there's not a lot of information available. You got to be ready.
And there isn't. Yeah, I forgot what I was going. Did you have anything you wanted to?
Frolicon, you guys did a hell of a job taking care of us. Thank you to the powers that be. Y'all did a great job. What I was getting into more with skin health is honestly, I do feel that is on the individual. A little education on it wouldn't hurt, but it is ultimately on the individual who's participating in just the venue and the folks who put Frolicon on did a really great job with that. I appreciate them very much.
And both of you have went to Frolicon before.
My
Oh,
first
you
year.
haven't. Oh, okay, okay. Then DNA, what was different about this year that you liked? Yeah.
For me, it wasn't the venue or the way that the production was done, that it was my emotions. I felt so much freer and more alive this year because I didn't have all that nervous newbie angst energy going. So that is definitely what I took from it. What I appreciated the most is that I felt freer this year than in the previous year. Again, only 2 under my belt, but many more to come. Many, many more. But I felt freer and just more comfortable exploring what I wanted to do. So every year I think I'm going to get more and more comfortable there.
And this is a question for both of you, but what do you think helps you be free to do those things that you want and wanting to explore?
Community. You have to have the right folks around you. I had the privilege of going with 2 incredible people. We all smashed into our hotel room, and I had support there. I also had people who I have played with that I, set up like, hey, let's check in with each other. It doesn't even necessarily mean play, just check in with each other, have each other, if know who's there. Like if your friend Amy is also going, be like, hey, let's keep in touch. Let's constantly look for each other's texts and DMs. And these are who the people that I'm, staying with. And if I get in trouble or get into a really bad space in my head, can my roommate or, hotel roommate contact you? Will you be there for me? I'll be there for you. That was really all I had to say.
No, like that.
I mean, yeah, a big part of feeling safe is, I'll piggyback. Having a community. I am very lucky that like I am both married to and collared by an incredible dominant, and they take really great care of me. I ended up having like a really intense reaction to a scene that was really well done. I want to be very clear that I just had an emotional reaction. Sorry, someone overheard me reacting to the scene, and I think I hurt their feelings on the day. Which
But
you can't win.
Yeah.
No, truly, it was like honestly, what had happened is I had gone from high protocol to a very different vibe of the class, and there was a demo scene at the end, and I had just come from this place with such a very strict, like, you have to have consent for every single thing, and I kind of felt like there was a little bit of like I almost felt like I was in a mob with the audience for a moment, which the Dom was in charge of and did not seem bothered by. No one was bothered by. It was just like a me thing. And so when we left, I just kind of crashed out a little bit, and my Dom yanked me out of that conference hall, got me home, reset. We took 90 minutes out of the con, and we're back in it because they are incredible. So like I'm really lucky that I have that wonderful person I can rely on, and that I trained into the perfect dominant. I did. Our first date was in a dungeon. Our first date, I invited their then partner to scene with me at a dungeon, and then they asked me if they could bring their partner, and I said sure, and they both showed up, and then I had 6 partners, and then I only wanted 1 partner, and then that took a while to happen. Anyway, it's a long story, but like I molded that beautiful dominant. I'm kidding. They're wonderful in their own right.
Good work with that one.
I kind of feel like I did. Kind of feel like as a sub, my job was a lot of like education and guidance and ideas. I'd say, hey, here's a slutty thought. Talking about it in 2 years. Like a lot of times, I'd be like, I read this incredible CNC fiction, and these things happened, and the character felt so like these things, and all these crazy emotions, and then 2 years later, it was like, let's do it, because that's just how it happens sometimes. So community is a big one, and the more people that we sort of collected throughout the con, because we really were just like making friends, the safer that we felt. And I feel like I don't even know if this is fully a good thing, but one of the things that we keep coming back to with Frolicon is like I hate saying it's what you make it, but it's just like you're going to this space that you know is going to be so mixed with people, and you can't assume that everyone there has the same ethical boundaries, moral boundaries, or is even there for good reasons, which can be scary. But it's almost sort of, for me, it gave me freedom to just be like, no, people ain't decide their shit. I'm picking who I want exactly. Because I'm a very good submissive who trains her doms well. But like the more people we gathered, the safer it felt, and the more fun and more freeing it felt. So like I'm already planning for next year to get some of my Chicago friends and my apparently my colored submissive from Indianapolis. I need to talk to her. But like I'm trying to get them to come down because we live like 10 minutes from the con. So yeah, like I'm already so excited to build a bigger community, which is also why I'm here today. So yeah.
Yes. Um, I really want to piggyback off of what you said regarding the like you being able to choose. With this being my second con and me having more of an awareness of myself and what to expect, I knew a lot of people were, or a lot of men specifically, were going to want to engage with me in some way. And even though I did honestly go into the con believing that I was a dom, and coming out fully knowing I am a switch. I'm a sub based switch, if that makes sense. But if that's how you word it. But knowing that I could say no and it's okay, or that I don't have to give them the time of day. That doesn't make me a dom. That makes me someone who knows my boundaries. Like, because again, like a lot of them, I had a moment where it was it was it was blurring the lines of my boundaries, and I had to step back and leave, and that was very powerful to me. I didn't want to, but I knew that this was pushing my boundaries, and just because the scene and the energy might be there, it doesn't mean that I had to listen to, you know,
Yeah.
what I had to listen to my inner self. And that was really powerful because he did end up getting upset. And I had to remember the whole point of me being here is to explore myself, not for someone else to explore
For
me.
you, it's this is your scene, and it's okay to say no.
And exactly. And that, because I've been, when you
You gotta thick
yeah,
skin in this community,
you have to.
literally.
And you have to, because yeah, a lot of people, they'll want to play, they want to even learn things from you, but again, you have to know where you are, because sometimes it's just not right. It's just not right. I will say though, what helped me get like really familiar with the con, or just really comfortable, is knowing that there was a lot of neurodivergent people there. I met, even before we actually went when we were just getting our tickets. Um, I already met a lot of people with ADHD, and it was really cool because I've never met so many neurodivergent people in my life. Like I met at least 30 to 40 people. Like, and it was really cool. Because I also knew that since I wasn't working, because I was volunteering at South when I went there, and again, amazing con, but here I was free to do whatever. So knowing that I was going to get randomly overwhelmed, or like you said, Princess Panic, you said like too many spoons or something like
Oh yeah, I
that.
ran out of spoons.
Ran out of spoons. Yeah, yeah. Like I was able to take multiple times during the day to go back to the hotel room and put music in, listen to music, just relax and just get recentered. So that was something that was really helpful for me.
And I don't know if you were even aware, but the way you tell people, you personally told me, and I've heard you tell other people ahead of time, like, hey, after this, I might need to go and be alone and just let me go. I might not talk to you afterwards, but it's okay. It's just I need to regroup. And the way you explained that to me in the moment was really cool. And I didn't realize the importance of letting people know before you play with them ahead of time. Like, if I go off by myself, leave me be. Or if you see me go off by myself, come get me. Which one do you need? They're both fine, but like just pre-prepping these people you play with about your personality quirks and you know different just your needs. It's all about clearly communicating your needs to others, and then if they don't do right by you, that's on them. But you've done everything to set up everything so you have what you need before, during, and after.
Yeah. And then that reduces you feeling bad too, because it's like, hey, I already told you in advance. These are my limits. This is my energy level. This is what might happen. Because even with the guy getting upset, I would say a few years ago, me when I first started stepping into that Atlanta scene, I would have honestly probably disrespected my own boundaries to please someone else. But I felt very comfortable and happy that I knew I knew I would feel very terrible if I continued with anything else, if I went any further. Um, and also similarly, I am collared, and like me and my partner, we have collared each other. And it felt really good also to know that he trusted me, and that when a scene came about where it was getting ready to get in the line of me crossing a boundary, that like when I stopped it and messaged him and etc., how he wasn't even stressed about anything. Like he knew that I was going to make the right decision, and that made me feel really good. And also it did happen to like just put some more power into our life, because it's like that whole few days was like kind of like foreplay. And I wanted to get into the next question, which is almost the last, which is what's sexual based experience or pleasure based experience did you have that was very exciting for you? Because one of mine was that foreplay. Having a scene with Princess Panic, for example, that I've never had before, and having that type of energy. And for me, I love just tease and sensualness. Um, because again, it did play into my sex with my partner, because it's like my I was like edging like the whole time. I don't know how to put that, if that's the right way to put it, but essentially I had my first like continuous orgasm without even him being inside me, if that makes sense. So like after, I was just like still on edge, and I was so sensitive, and I'm like, yeah, foreplay is for me. Yeah.
Something that I experienced that I had never done before. Frolicon is great. They have a wish board, which I wish that every Dungeon Kink event had a little wish board. And I put something on the wish board. I am you know, uh, sexually, I'm a much more open person than I was a couple years ago, even a couple days ago. Like, I feel like every day I'm growing with it. And so it was something I've always thought about, but never had the gumption to do. I wanted to create an orgy. I had never orchestrated an orgy. I'd never been in one. I didn't even really know what constituted an orgy until I looked it up online while I was planning this. So I put it up on the wish board, and I had two folks who were very, very respectful and cool, and they're like, I want to do this too. We kind of approached it as like a bucket list kind of thing, because we were a little more mature people, not necessarily seasoned in kink, but definitely more older in age. And so we orchestrated an orgy on the last night of Frolicon, and we literally were Googling, how many people do you need? Okay, you need at least five. Should the people know each other? Doesn't matter, things like that. And so we ended up orchestrating, it took us about a half hour to orchestrate a 6-person orgy, which we had at Frolicon. These were, I happen to know, I was with one of my other play partners, a female. She was there with me. We met up with one of the gentlemen that I was talking to about this orgy. He ended up bringing someone who wasn't even expecting to go to Frolicon. It might sound a little like haphazard, and it was, but it was still safe, because once we got, and then we ended up, there was a couple who I was very attracted to the female and I wanted to play with her. And she was there with her wonderful husband. And so the six of us got together. We literally had a circle powwow. We congregated. We talked about what we wanted to do, what we didn't want to do. And we also really enforced the idea of tap out if you're getting uncomfortable. Just tap tap. What are you going to do to tap out? You can literally tap tap your partner. You can say red, yellow, green. The octopus is swimming backwards. Whatever you decide to say or do, I a very creative thing that I have a dom friend who does is she gives all of her subs a little packet of Altoids, and all they have to do is shake it or throw it on the floor because it's a metal container. You're gonna hear it hit, and that will bring your dom back. Like, oh, I got to talk to you now. Hold on. What's going on? How are you? Are you okay? How you feeling? Even just anything. You can, throw a tennis ball across the room. It's, it's fine as long as you have a way of communicating with your dom, and don't just think that verbally is the only way you can communicate if you want to pop out, because sometimes you can't talk. How do you say red, yellow, green with a ball gag on your mouth? Yeah, I can't. So there you go. But yeah, we had an impromptu but responsible orgy, and it was awesome. And these are people from all over the place. And do I still talk to them? I am polyamorous. I am not swing. So yes, I am still talking to every single one of them every other day, even to 2 weeks later. And hell, I might have made friends for life. Who knows?
Yes, I love that. And can I just say, I didn't even know that. So, like, there was an orgy room, and I thought, or no, right? Like,
Where?
see, there were so
Hold
many
up.
things going on.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Fucking where?
yeah, and it was like literally a line.
Okay, but where?
I mean, it was like on the third floor.
Oh,
There was things on the
with
third
the
floor, and people
okay,
didn't
the it was
know.
like board games and apparently well that that kind of connects. Um,
I just didn't want to be yelled at virgin. Like, it was too much for me. I didn't want that.
I think by the time I went, they were tired, so it was both too much and they were tired, and I was like, this is okay. I'm too expensive of a submissive to do this for everyone.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't put degradation on some of my information because I was like, hold on, I like it happening to me. I wasn't inviting any dom to
But
do
do
it.
you see what I mean? That's
Yeah.
why, because yeah, like for me, it's specific people I have to trust. Because I feel like half the time y'all just, people just want to do it because
Princess,
yeah,
you can't. I'll play with new people. It's just there are different things that I will see with new play partners. I wish I hadn't even said the word degradation because the amount of men that messaged me on Discord asking if they could spit on me, I was like, I don't
because
know
even
you.
even pain, it's like
Yeah.
they'll go too far because it's
Actually,
like
I wanted I wish I had just said impact and rope in my intro. I just thought it was factual. I was like, these are scenes you might see me doing.
yeah,
That's kind of a mistake on my end, but
Mhm.
with new partners, I'm not comfortable going to the furthest hard stuff, and the kind of doms that will come and find me
Exactly.
for that don't usually jive with me.
Yes.
Because I literally have princess in my title. Like there's some of that going on. But so I just I wish I had just put impact because I'm like, no, I want men who will come and beat my fucking ass. That's the only men I'm really looking for right now. I want an expert in what you're topping in. If you're a man, you need to be an expert. If not,
Yeah.
be polite to me and tell me you like my outfit, and then we can chat.
But exactly, because some of them, they kind of just approach you with that demeanor, but it's like, we are not in a scene right now. Don't come at me like that.
yeah, I've learned a new way to present
Hey,
myself.
sub, excuse me. Like, okay, now you're going to see the dominant part come out because yeah, you're approaching me wrong. But wait, back to the orgy
Sorry,
room.
yeah, no, I'm like we have to get back to the orgy.
Like, I was very curious, but I, again, coming from like the not professional part of kink, I thought that if I went in there, that meant that I was going to have to be a part of it. I didn't understand that there was a system, like there's the light system, right? That I'm sure you can explain.
Yes.
But yeah, I didn't understand that, and I didn't think you could just be a watcher. I'm so used to people being so intense with me that I was so uncomfortable with the thought that I would be in a room where people would maybe assume that they could just touch me. Like Tokyo Valentino, for example. You go in there, you're just going to be touched. You're going to. It's just crazy. Some of these places.
Don't go there.
Yeah.
Go to rumors. They
I
have good
concur
rumors.
as a
Yeah.
female. So
Shop upstairs.
wonderful.
They got some cute stuff sometimes. I got some
Oh,
good
they do.
outfits.
No, they
Yeah.
do.
Sorry.
No, but no, just because you go into that room, I mean, Frolicon is a learning place for everybody. You don't know if you might want to do an orgy the next year or the next night or within the next 10 minutes until you go in and see for yourself. You have no clue. So go watch, take in everything, but only do what you're 1,000% comfortable doing.
Can you talk about the light system they have?
They do have a brilliant, wonderful light system at Frolicon. When you go into an orgy room, well, everyone is required to wear their badge at all times. It is a very big, obvious badge. You can have whatever your name you want on it, whatever you feel comfortable with. But they have these buckets with little lights, like little lights that are pink and blinking, orange, I believe orange was one in blinking, white was one in blinking, yellow and green. I personally, and those lights signified who you wanted to play with. If you only wanted to play with women, your pink light. If you were down to play with anybody, but that doesn't mean you have to play with them, just you're open to the idea of playing with anyone. The light system, I personally took a green light because I knew going in that I might be down to play with anyone. Does that mean that I had to? God no. But heavens, that is the last thing that it means. It's just whatever you might be open to. Did I say no that night? Many times? Absolutely. Everyone that approached me and had a request or asked if they even wanted to, if they could even talk to me or sit with me or stand next to me, permission was asked, and sometimes it was granted, sometimes it wasn't. But it's just, it's okay to, I also want to say that it's okay to be turned down. You do have to have really thick skin in this community. Don't take it personally, because I was told no as well to things that I wanted to do. You don't take it personal. It's not anything against you. It's just that person is standing up for them, stating what they want and what they need, because ultimately we're there for our own happiness. And if other people jive into that and enhance it, great. But you don't want to create a situation where some poor guy or gal or whoever is, doing something to you that you don't want because you didn't have the, you couldn't say no to that person. You're going to ruin their time and your time. So yeah, you got to be a responsible sub. You got to be a responsible dom, responsible. But trust me, there's so much fun that comes out of that responsibility. So worth it.
Because yeah, I had to take a 2 year hiatus because when I was getting into the kink community at first, in Atlanta, I first started as with just burlesque, but I was getting so much, so many like unconsensual encounters, and just aggressiveness because essentially, burlesque is striptease, so I'm damn near nude when I get off of the stage, and these guys would just come up to me and like start flirting, or even I even had one instance where this older guy who I was having a basic conversation with before I performed, when I got off and I was sitting in a chair, I'm just relaxed, and he puts his hand on my shoulder and I look at him to, say, can you not touch me? And he's like, hey, oh, I'm just, trying to help you relax, like, uh, this isn't this isn't that, like, I'm just trying to help you, and started massaging me.
What he wanted to do, then he should have asked you, would you like a massage to
Yes,
relax,
exactly.
ma'am?
And again, I was like 20. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I was like 21. So I was already very like I don't want to, in my head, I'm like, I don't want to make anyone upset with me. I don't want to, I had I had a lot of healing essentially to do before I came back because I was not comfortable saying no, and that was very harmful to me. So, like you said, very much needed. Even if the person does not understand the whys, it doesn't matter because they don't have to understand. You have to, but you have to be able to communicate it to them.
You are, I feel, as obligated as someone being approached to say yes or no, and that's it.
Yeah.
You are obligated to say those two words, but
Even
the other
during,
person.
yeah, exactly. Even during, because I'm sure a lot of assigned female at birth people have had unconsensual encounters, and some of us do end up learning that we are going to be shamed or guilt tripped in some way if we say no. But again, that's why it's heavily on the doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter if they get upset. It doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes in and you say no or stop, slow down, whatever. If it's not listened to, that is an issue with them and not with you.
Yeah. And honestly, the kind of people that push boundaries are also the kind of people that are going to figure out exactly what makes you weak to saying no. Like girls that girls that walk around being like, I'm really hot, get told they're too mean. Girls that walk around with low confidence get, oh, no one else is going to want you. Like, there is no way you can win against someone that's already trying to manipulate you.
Yes.
So as soon as you notice someone trying to manipulate you, you can't win unless you go. Just fucking go.
Yes.
It's not you. Someone who does that is going to find a way to do that for everyone.
Or
they're
no
going to have a
arguing.
type they know how to do it with. Like, they're going to be like, every freaking woman they talk to has this like archetype of characteristics and they know how to make her weak with it. Every woman I know looks so many different ways, skinny women, big women, like whatever. They have been manipulated by someone who figured out how to do it.
They'll
like
find your insecurity and they will toy with it to go in whichever way they want it to be. Exactly. You can't, because even in the scenario I said, like looking back, I'm like, the only thing I could have done was say, you just stop and walk away.
Yep.
Because this is the type of person who, again, it's this back and forth. And I did that back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm not that type of guy. I'm not this.
Aren't you
and that.
nice? I didn't
Yeah,
make you
yeah. Don't be this, don't be that. You know what I mean? Guilt trip. And it's like you have to be strong with
and you were what, 20, early 20s?
Yeah,
of course.
Exactly.
Of course.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was not to
and
like
they know,
victim.
and exactly they know this. That's why it's like, yeah, you have to be your number one like support person or
you owe it to yourself.
And just so you hear from someone else's mouth, as soon as you feel someone manipulating you, just go. It's
as
not
soon as you feel
just go.
uncomfortable and you feel like you have to over explain, you need to walk away.
Someone doesn't have to be a bad person to make you uncomfortable.
Yes.
You leaving doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means you don't want to be around them. You're not the Pope.
I want you tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's not, you're not, this is for me. You're not that special, honey. You're not going to break someone's heart by saying no. Like, you're not that special.
Yeah.
That helps me, not everyone else, but like sometimes I have
and
to
again,
like,
if they really are that upset, they have an issue. Like,
yeah, it's not about you at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to bet. Just tell somebody no to one thing and see how they react.
No, seriously, that's what I consistently had been doing, because again, I need to see your reaction to my no. Are you going to try to force it, or are you going to do some type of emotional like, come on, like I need to see it.
Or are you going to respect it and continue to sit with me and chat like a decent fucking human being?
And if I walk away, right, the next day, are you still having that same energy, or is it off? Because yes, so like the guy I was having that encounter with, it was off the next day, and I was like, I felt bad for a second. I'm not gonna lie, pushed back on one of my boundaries and said a different type of scene. But then I had to think about it again, and I changed my mind. And for a moment, I was like, okay, but this is making me wishy-washy. Da da da. It's like, no, I had to keep checking in on myself, and it doesn't matter how many times I change my mind. I need to make sure that whatever I'm deciding is something that I 100% want, and that is okay. You are perfectly fine to change your mind.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and it shouldn't take that other person but a second or two. Granted, give them that second or two to slow down in their mind to your level or turn it off. But it should only take a second or two, really. For example, if somebody has their arm up here and they are ready to swat you, and then when they get to this point, you say, no, and they can't stop, give them just like a second or two.
I have
Unless you're like that person is an inch away from you, a centimeter, they should stop. They should stop and drop right there. But just know that your no is going to take a second or two to register with that other human.
I actually, and this is what I instruct my doms with hard scenes to do. I tell them, if you think I say no or you think I say stop, that's not red. I actually, it actually, because you know what sounds really similar? Don't and don't stop.
Yeah.
No and oh. So for me, and this is a me boundary, and I like to like, especially with heavy impact scenes, if I say no, keep hitting me. I know how to. If you're worried, ask me my color. Like, totally checking the colors, but like me personally, I keep touching the mic. Like I have told my dogs before, I'm like, hey, if you think you say no or stop and you're uncomfortable, ask my color, but please don't treat my no as a red because you don't even know if I'm saying no or like it's loud. So like I love to bring that up because I'm like, it's a personal thing for me. And also, I've mentioned I like some mentally hard scenes. So again, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, no, directly ignore my no. But even in soft scenes with my like established dominance, I tell them, I know my colors. You can ask my colors. Please don't stop if you don't hear my color. But sorry, that's just like I love to read like,
No, yeah.
For me, I'm not coming from it
Yeah.
as total BDSM. I am into the sexual element of it.
Yeah.
And I have every partner that I have ever been with. I am so fortunate and blessed where I've ever said, slow down, tap, stop during sexual encounters, even if it's with, a few other people. They have immediately like, did you say stop or slow down? Oh, okay. Like, and they do it, and there's no question. There's no argument at that point. There's
Yeah,
no
in sexual
rebuttal. There's
situations,
no
I want to be clear.
negotiation.
I thought you were talking about only like an impact thing, and I was like, in impact scenes, it actually does bother me when my top listens to no. In purely sexual encounters,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
I'm coming at it from both angles.
yeah, differently. Yeah, impact scenes, you need to use my colors. With one dominant, I do have the same like no, just colors. Don't need to look because no and O sound similar, that sort of thing. But like if they're reading uncomfortable body language, I want to be very clear that like that shouldn't be something. That's not what I think I want my doms to push on. I just mean with impact and like intense scenes.
Yes, I was speaking more on like my experience with the impact and the sexual aspects. I do have one dom that I have worked with for 9 or 10 months now. We'll say A. A is incredible at pushing my boundaries, both with BDSM and sexuality. Um, but A has also been working with me for almost a year, and it's taken that long to establish that level of trust. If you are a dom and you're out there for seeking a sub, it takes a long damn time to build and establish that.
And it should.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're functional. Whereas, if A would have taken it too far and pushed my boundaries in the beginning, would I still be working with A? Oh my God, no. No. That permission was granted to, there was even separate permissions. If I say no, don't stop. Like, and then we get into the consent, non-consent, and I am personally not. I don't want to speak on that. I think it may be a great thing for people, but that is something I'm barely tipping my pinky toe into.
And I mean, but also what both of you are saying, that's why there's a reason for safe words. Because I mean, a lot of us say no, but it's very much so like the
No.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
it's very much like the teasing no. And yeah, that's why we have the safe words, because I mean, yeah, we need it. and we also need the color system too. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, if you are, and I'm not picking on anybody who is hetero or anything, but if you approach someone who is your same sex, and they're not comfortable with it, and their button or their light clearly shows that they are, hetero, and you approach someone of the same sex, for a sexual or BDSM encounter, shame on you.
Yeah, it's weird.
Shame on you. Don't try and push anybody's boundaries. I mean, there are clear signs there. Frolicon does a very good job of that. And yeah. I don't know.
One more question I wanted to ask is, what do you believe? So, like at Frolicon during the Sebu school, I was learning about toxic traits of submissives. So, what would you say are toxic traits, and then versus the healthy traits of not just a submissive, but of someone in the kink community?
No, actually, I'm gonna focus on the submissive because I'm
Okay,
like
and that's
no, because like
okay.
that's because
Yeah.
I'm a submissive. I'm like actually, yeah. Um, it's the there's a certain kind of like some of these words might be charged. I don't know. They're coming from me, but like there's kind of a greedy selfishness to it sometimes of like I want all these things to happen and I have such great ideas and okay, do it, hit me, okay, you're the top, do the scene. And it's like okay, I feel like as a submissive, it's almost on us. We're almost more in charge up until the scene actually happens.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, like we have to.
100%.
Yeah, and like there have been times where I approach, like I'm lucky to have worked with older people who I would call kind of experts in their tools, like some really great electrotops and some really great impact tops.
Mhm.
And I came to them and I had to say, I've only done this level of impact. You do higher impact. I am exploring it. I'm telling you my knowledge level. Are you comfortable with it? And I've had
Mhm.
Dom say, not tonight. Like I'm
Yeah.
not teaching tonight. Um, but like so there's very much like a you need to know your level of knowledge, you need to do extra research. If you have the toys, like I brought a violet wand over today, I am not a top, but I have played with it on my partner and myself because it's my responsibility. Yeah, you can play with us. But like there is, and I hate to be like too much entitlement, but it can be very much entitled. Like, oh, I want these things.
On
I'm
both
gonna,
sides,
yeah. But
100%.
like from submissive, they'll ask a dominant to be responsible for doing these things and for inflicting
Oh.
pain and taking
Mhm.
control and degrading them and pinning them in public and fucking them in public and tying them up and all these things put a lot of extra pressure on the dominant. And there are
Mhm.
so many submissives who just go, "What a fun idea! My dom's gonna do it," and then it's like they don't think through a lot of the downsides
Mhm.
and they're not there for the dom for the downsides and
Mhm.
they like I've met doms who feel like they're terrible people who are like I hurt this person, I'm just horrible, and I'm like, well, she asked you to do it, did she talk to you afterwards? No, okay, it's on her.
Yes.
But
Yes.
like I tell myself submissives are special because we have to be because why else would my submission mean something if I wasn't a special and valuable thing?
Mhm.
um that's me. And so like as something that is special, I have to take a lot of care into the only people who get to play with the special thing have already earned it. Like the vetting is my responsibility. The chatting of the aftercare is my responsibility once I'm able to come up. Like I don't feel like aftercare is done until I've checked with my dom and said like how did you feel during the scene?
And I've never experienced that even, yeah.
Oh yeah, I had to
And that
cut you
was,
off.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that was crazy because, yeah, you're right though. There is a lot of focus on submissives aftercare or what their needs are or their wants, but the dom and not, yeah, exactly. There
Yeah.
isn't that much focus on what do you need also.
And yeah, like you are a
Yeah.
precious thing. You have to take care of yourself. One of my favorite things I heard in the high protocol class was protect the property. That's the first rule for that mistresses contracted submissives is protect the property.
Mhm.
And they're like, if she gives me an order that would put me in harm's way, I cannot because I signed a contract saying I would protect the property. I'm the property. Which is
Oh.
I loved the high protocol class, you guys. It was really it gave me goosebumps. They were really wonderful people. But yeah, protect the fucking property, protect it mentally, protect it physically, and you don't have to, as a submissive, be property. This is you can hear where I'm going in my mind, but like you have to value yourself. You have to evaluate your needs and your personal things, and you have to do the work before and after. You cannot
Mhm.
turn your brain off completely. And if you're going to, you need to talk to your dom about when it turns back on. You
Mhm.
can do 24 hours, you can do 48 hours, but you have to prepare for the come downs. You have to value yourself. You have to treat yourself like you're valuable and not like in a self-care way and like a no one else is going to know how to do it. I don't know. I got a little lost at the end, but
Well,
Or you'll end up having a horrible come down
because
where
we
you need
do,
to call
yes.
3, 4 friends, 5 friends that day in to
Yeah.
support you.
And we,
Because
yes.
I didn't set, and they definitely did, but I didn't set myself up for success that day. I'll be honest.
and that's not
I
the end
did
of
a
the
good
world.
job the 3 days, the first 3 days, but that fourth day I did not set myself up for success. I got sloppy with my own self care, and
it's always going to happen. I don't mean to like a perfect sub cannot avoid sub drop, but just
Even in
care.
our scene, both of us, we were like, "Hey, we're having random Charlie horses. I don't know what's going on." And you know what's crazy? I was giving you water, but I wasn't even drinking
Didn't drink water.
water. Yeah, and we were both very dehydrated because I think it was actually DNA who told me that the reason for random Charlie horses or muscle cramps is because of
mineral balance in your body.
yeah. And actually kept hearing um about that from a lot of people, even though there were huge water tanks, right? But a lot of us were
cups.
yes, yeah, we're drinking like one cup. We're like, I'm fine now. Like, let's go have fun. I do wish there was. Again, this is my second con, so I don't believe this is probably a thing, but there wasn't like a break in the schedule for lunch per se, right? Or
You kind of had to eat
for
yourself.
yeah, exactly. So you're really like debating, like, okay, do I go to this fun or educating, amazing class, or do I
Go eat a
eat?
tuna sandwich.
You
Yeah,
gotta
and so
dom
you
yourself.
had to
With
decide
a
you,
Gatorade.
and that's a
Go to
part of
class
being an
20 minutes
adult.
late. Like, go to class 20 minutes late. Nothing really
Yeah,
happened in the first 20 minutes.
exactly, exactly.
They told you your name. They got a little nervous. They pulled up a PowerPoint that shorted out 3 times. And 20 minutes into class, it's ready to go.
Yeah.
No shade to any of our presenters, but
No,
like, come
and
on, we've all
no
been to
shade,
cons.
because the AV stuff the AV things that Frolicon had is wonderful. We are also talking about experiences beyond Frolicon.
Yes. And also, shit happens.
Yeah.
And it's Atlanta. You can't get anywhere on time.
And none of them were upset either. That's why I felt very comfortable because they were very relaxed. It wasn't like it's not school. Like you're not like, oh, I'm gonna be late. Oh, like they're yeah, they
Yeah.
would even they would even like recognize you when you walk into the room late and have you give your introduction and even restate what they said some of the time, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, they were very accommodating
Yeah,
to
so if
that.
you want to go to a class, eat first and just show up a little bit late.
Yes.
They're 90-minute classes instead of an hour. I really like that too.
Yeah.
Because that gave more time.
And my last question is what do you think could help, well, I would say tips for people who want to go to Frolicon, and then also tips for how to prevent or reduce con drop.
Hmm.
I would say for me, I already, well, I would say next year I would definitely make sure I stock up on the food that I need. Because I had to do it like the day of, and that was very draining to go grocery shopping, but I know I needed to because obviously I'm not gonna have any food to eat. So I had to do all of that. That was very needed. Have making sure that I prepped for breaks in advance. That's something I did that really helped me not have con drop. And then also, um, I feel like other than the like biological reasons or of con drop, I would say one thing is if people feel like they are disconnected from their community once they leave, that will contribute to depression, that will contribute to just feeling just terrible once you leave because it's so amazing. You're having all this dopamine running through you and oxytocin and just all of these chemicals, yeah, endorphins running through you. So when you get back home to your normal life, to your job, to your 9 to 4 or whatever you're doing, 9 to 5, you will feel, it's normal to feel down.
Yeah.
But if you still remember that these memories you had and the experiences you have and the people you shared it with, that those still exist. It's not something that's like in the past. It's something that you can still carry with you. I think that would help too.
Yeah.
Or even if you still reach out to those people you had those amazing connections with, because I know a lot of people they can't do anything monthly or yearly, but if you just put that kink in your life, just a little dash personally, like whether it's buy that lingerie piece or just look in the mirror and remember that you are everything that you were at Frolicon. You just haven't found a way to implement it in your life. Then, I just think those are things that could help maybe.
Well, again, health educator. My soapboxes were definitely rehydration solutions. Absolutely stock up on those, have them, use them, give them to people. Just keep enough for yourself. Every body in there needed it at one point or another. I will safely say that every body needed it. And my other soapbox, of course, was the skincare, pre and post. I'm a big advocate of that. We don't want to catch any of the yuck. There are couple thousand people there. Hey, and my other is prepare for the con drop. I will next time definitely better prepare myself, not just for after a scene or after an experience, but the day after. I need my people. I need lots of people. I need lots of support and mental hugs and physical hugs and all that. I need those things, and I'm going to set it up next year for success for that Sunday come down.
If only there was I really want to set up like a cuddle puddle the
That would be
Sunday.
beautiful.
Y'all have
That
fun
is a
with that.
great idea. Cuddle puddle like
That would be
even
fun.
yeah, cuddle puddles just all over the place. Why not set them up in the corners
Hit up
everywhere?
some primal play people. They are always cuddle puddling.
That makes sense.
Yeah. They're either wrestling each other or cuddle puddling from what I've
So
seen.
we need to, yeah, I mean, as people who are, who don't have experience with primal, I have none, but I want to learn about your cuddle puddle. Maybe I'll just show up the last 15 minutes. No, I'm kidding.
Honestly, maybe you should just show up the last 15 minutes. That sounds like a great way to. The primal people were really cool. Like I was like, I am not primal. My partner might be a little bit, but they were fun to listen to. I bet you there'll be a lot at the midsummer, the camping thing.
Yes.
Yeah, like primal people love camping, unsurprisingly.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, con drop.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. No, I'm super neurotypical, can't you tell? Okay. I mean, water's a huge one. Bringing a hand fan helped so much. It's hot and it smells like everyone's junk in the sexy and unsexy way. You get hit by waves of pheromones. There you go.
The heat was crazy. Yeah.
Heat was crazy. Apparently, it was crazy last year too.
What can they do when they have thousands of people in one building?
Well, they can fix the AC. No, I think apparently 2 years ago, one of the towers' AC in the hotel rooms went out.
At the worst possible time.
Yes. So like bringing a hand fan really helped a lot. And I think a big one for me is like I want to set up a community. I mentioned we live like 10 minutes from the con center. I also think it's going to be a big one for me to have a hotel room on site. Like I thought
that was a big difference.
Yeah, I thought I could do it. I mean, I could do it. We did, but I'm 30. I'm starting to hurt a little bit. I'm not 21 going into dungeons anymore, bouncing up like I'm fine the next day. Like things are starting to hurt more, and that actually hurt my con drop a lot. Like I was like, my body's different and changing. Like this is very dramatic, I know, but like it was kind of a weird thing because I hadn't seen that hard since I'd been, a good 6 years younger.
That's valid though.
Yeah. Sure. So like for me, I'm like, oh, I need a hotel room. So like I'm gonna use my house as a hub, but I also am hoping to get a lot of friends, and like my plan is to like rent a hotel room. People can sleep there, but anyone can go up and shower, and then like my house is like the hub. So like bigger community, bring a hand fan, drink more water, journaling helped me so much. Because that way
you're great memories. I don't want to forget them.
It's great memories. You're giving yourself support because like as you're journaling, you'll notice if you're judging yourself. You'll notice if you're having like and I was a terrible slut and everyone saw my boobs and I'm gonna die. What? No, that's crazy. Cross it out and be like, I was a beautiful slut. And I was an exhibitionist and had a great time. Journal. Offer yourself the support that you can offer. I also have a wonderful dom. I'm a food girl, so my dom had like a tray table set up with like snacks for me all week, and I could just pick at them all week. So yeah, journal, hand fan, water. If you're over the age of 26, I'd recommend a hotel room.
Definitely gonna bring the little electrolyte packets next time because when I went shopping and drunk the electrolyte. Felt so much better, but I'm not gonna lie, I felt
give you a free
for a while
in your swag bag.
And then also,
is well planned.
I was gonna say also, as someone who's younger, Me looking at the swag bag and not seeing physical gifts, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even look through it. And that was one of my bad things because they had a lot. They had the free kink bag like giveaway thing that you could have signed up for. They had a lot of things in there, but because I was so overwhelmed and just like, and again, when you're
I
new,
got a
you're
bag of
not
business
even.
cards.
Yeah, I thought it was just business cards, so I didn't even really look through it. So yes, definitely look through your swag bag and see what is there, even if it looks like business cards, because you never know. Maybe that's a good connection or networking opportunity. Take time to just.
The BDSM, hey, we are a community. We need to support each other outside of the dungeon, outside of the bedroom. If, support kink friendly businesses, support those folks who recognize you and see your importance. I hate to say it, but what has Walmart done for us in the kink community lately? Not much. But there's a lot of local businesses who recognize and understand. In that swag bag, I even saw a business card for a kink friendly plumber
Yeah.
in case something goes down that shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like I'm like that was brilliant. My pest control man is kink friendly. You know why? Because I have a swing hanging from the ceiling in my bedroom, and I don't want to take it down every time he comes over. I don't want to have to hide my stuff. If we support other kink, our people with within their respective professionals in the kink community, within their respected professions, hell, let's keep the business there. Let's keep our money and our business where our interests really lie.
Yes, 100%. I was planning on like keeping all the business cards and stuff, but I more so like was in the headspace of I need to hurry up and get to the next thing. I can't look through all this stuff. What is this? Where's the toy? I don't care. Like, just in just like rush mode. But yes, 100% slow down. Remember that even if you miss one class, it's okay. Just breathe through it. But I 100% feel how you feel. Like definitely make sure you follow these people on Instagram or wherever you try to keep
How you know each
connections.
other or what you do with each other. You gotta say that.
Or on FET, right? Because everyone doesn't have just like a separate Instagram account. But I would say it is a very good idea to have separate accounts per social media for your kink life, especially if you have a high profile job or you just don't want, your family and such finding out what you enjoy. It exactly a lot. I would say most likely probably 80% of people at Frolicon had FetLife.
Yeah.
It's it's a very good website in regards to keeping connections when you go to cons and things like that. And yeah, having people who are kink friendly. I found a kink friendly therapist. They were literally there.
Important.
And they were very well versed also in issues in like the Black community regarding getting a really good therapist who is understanding basically different parts of you as an individual and being able to connect intersectionality. They 100% understood that. So yeah, very much so. When you find someone who is kink friendly, it definitely makes a huge difference because in our world it's still very much illegal certain things that we may do or yeah be around. So yeah, but
Political unrest in our country? No.
oh no.
Fine.
Yes. uh,
There is no war in Bossing Say.
I mean, at least when you're in Frolicon, you don't think that. Okay, so yeah.
Most beautiful part. Just that break from reality, man. That's all I got. That break from reality.
It felt like a vacation.
It
Yes.
really is like a vacation.
Yes. 100%. Well, I'm very thankful I had my two amazing guests for the podcast raw release. Frolicon was again very amazing. I'll have a part two with BIPOC only to review the podcast. I mean, sorry, the convention and just talk about different things relating to it. But this was great, and we were able to really dive into a lot of things that I had been really wanting to talk about, and I'm glad that I have, two new kink friends and kink family. So yeah, so happy. Thank you for joining me and thank you for watching. And yeah, have a great day.